Randy Robinson here at lifetodaytv with Naomi Zacharias, and you may recognize the last name. Her father is Ravi Zacharias, who is brilliant. So, Naomi, welcome.
Thank you. It's
Naomi,
good to be here.
you are the author of a book called The Scent of Water, and I'm going to ask you about that because I don't quite understand the title, and I'm sure it's significant. But first of all, okay, you were born in Canada.
That's right.
Raised in the United States.
Correct.
Your father was born in India.
Uh-huh.
Your husband you met in Italy, and now you live in England.
That is correct.
Okay, so you work all over the world.
Yes. So that's why when people ask where I'm from, it's become a very complicated question.
Yes, it's a bit of a trail there. That's great though. Now you have a concern though for people around the world. Why? Where did that come from?
I think it really started, I was doing an internship in DC, which is actually where I met your parents for the first time. So that was in 2002, and interning at the White House there. And one of the roles that I had was working with various constituency groups, and one of those groups was international women's issues. And so that was the one that just really impacted me. And that after that experience, it was just something I really wanted to get involved in further, and felt like that's what I wanted to kind of build my time and life and really career around. So
out of that came Wellspring International?
It did. I went back to Atlanta after leaving DC and helped to launch Wellspring International. And the idea behind Wellspring was it's part of Ravi Zacharias International Ministries, RZIM. It's the humanitarian arm, and that's something that RZIM had always done. It had always been part of its ministry, but in a much smaller capacity. And we really wanted to give it its own place, and the key in that was being able to give people the opportunity to contribute specifically to that arm of the ministry, and that was different than it had been before. And so our mission here was really just feeling like there are so many people out there who do want to support these kinds of needs around the world, whether it's trafficking or domestic violence or HIV care, and basically reaching out to those who have just suffered incredible pain and injustice and have had no one to be their voice and no one to take up their cause. But I think there's just been a growing sense of disillusionment with nonprofits, and people just aren't always sure where to go to help, and they're not sure what happens to their money and if the people that need it actually get it. And we wanted to come in and try to bridge that gap. And so by launching Wellspring, we saw our role as taking the initiative to go out and research these organizations and needs and identify the ones that were really meeting legitimate needs and with integrity, and then being able to bring that back home and so link these needs with donors who wanted to participate, and that's still our role. So our primary purpose is in due diligence and then connecting, being the bridge basically between individuals and these needs overseas.
Give us an example of something that you're doing right now to help people.
One of the programs that we work with is a ministry in Mumbai, and it's called Bombay Teen Challenge. And we work with two parts of their organization. And the first is in the outreach to women in the red light district there. And specifically, we provide funding for HIV care for 20 women each year. And it's the only ministry right now in Mumbai that is able to provide that care to women for free. And so that's the HIV treatment as well as nutrition. It's a very comprehensive program so that they can really actually maintain their health. The clinic is set in the red light district, and that red light district is the largest in Asia. Right now there's about 50,000 women in prostitution there. At times there's as many as 70,000, and the majority of those women have been trafficked. When you walk through those streets, they're actually behind bars, and there are just these dark eyes looking out at you. And so this clinic is right in the heart of the red light district and really reaching out to these women. The second part of the program that we participate in is a shelter that we help them to start, which is for the children of the women living in the brothels, because otherwise the children stay in the rooms with the women. So they're there when all these things go on, and so sometimes the children are abused themselves, sometimes they're drugged, so they're not aware of what's going on. But Bombay Teen Challenge had started a night care center, and that had become a daycare center, so the kids had a place to go. And then we helped them to find this building in the red light district where there are about 60 children live full time. And they get their education, they get all their food and clothing, they get tutoring. It's comprehensive care. They can visit their moms occasionally, but that is their home. And it's a safe place for them. It's a place that takes care of them. It's been an incredible ministry. And
how does that work? Because India is not predominantly Christian by any means?
It's not predominantly Christian, but the program that we work with, Bombay Teen Challenge, is a Christian organization and very vocal and very outspoken, not ashamed of what they believe and why. They've been there for 20 years, and their founder, his name is Devraj, and I'll never forget, he told me that when he started, it took 2 years of being out on the street and talking to women before the first one would speak back to him. I think there's just such a sense of distrust for those women because of all that's happened, and specifically from a man. They just weren't sure what to believe or what to make of this. So he's had a really powerful witness and very bold. He started a church in the red light district there, and so many of them will attend church services as well. So they've had a very powerful ministry.
So you're openly sharing and showing the gospel
Yes.
to these people in
Yes.
these really dark places. Now, out of that, you must have some stories. Is that where the book comes from?
That is exactly where the book comes from. I was actually really intimidated at the idea of writing a book. So I come from a family that has authors, and so I never saw myself doing that, and it was something that I was a little nervous to kind of venture out there. But the part that made me want to do it was just was feeling like there are these stories that need and deserve to be told. And the people that I've met in these circumstances, whether it's Mumbai or whether it was women's prisons in South Africa or women in brothels in Amsterdam, the stories deserve to be told, and they affected my life so much that I just felt this responsibility. If those stories could impact me the way they had, that it seemed like a responsibility I had to share them with other people, to give them the same opportunity to learn the things I did.
So explain the title to me. What is The Scent of Water?
Well, I'd written the whole book before I had a title, and so I'd written it, and I was actually looking through the Bible to find a verse that captured what I wanted to, that really summarized the purpose of these stories and the purpose of the book. And I found a verse in Job, and the paraphrase of it is basically that even if a tree dies and its roots decay, at the very scent of water, it will come back to life. And to me, that was the perfect picture of what I had the opportunity to see and to witness in these stories of people who have just suffered, I think, some of the greatest kinds of injustice our minds can fathom. But seeing, and I love that the verse says, not even at water, but at the scent of water, they will come back to life. And being able to see that in other people's lives, and actually it helped me to recognize it in my own. But I thought it was a verse that perfectly captured
That's beautiful.
what the book
That's
is
beautiful.
about.
Give us your website. People want to follow up with you.
It's www.wellspringinternational.org.
And they can get your book at Amazon, other...
They can get it at Amazon. CBD.com is what we sell through Naomi Zacharias International Ministries. So you can go to the RZIN website, the Wellspring website, or Amazon and your local bookstores as well.
Excellent. Check out The Scent of Water, and be sure to catch Naomi when she's on Life Today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.